We thought that this was ending at the end of the day without a verdict, and then the judge came back on the bench after saying he was going to excuse the jury. He returned at 4:36 saying the jury had another note. It was time-stamped at 4:20. They had a verdict and they needed an extra 30 minutes. The mood changed entirely inside the courtroom. Trump had been laughing with his lawyer, Todd Blanche. They'd been talking a lot. He was smiling. It appeared they thought that this day was ending without a verdict. And then after the judge had read that note, everything changed. He became very still. He had his arms folded across his chest. It became a much different situation inside that courtroom. And then we waited for the jury to enter. When they came in, they filed into the courtroom. None of them looked over at Donald Trump. That is normal. They normally don't. But they all walked toward their seats, took their seats, and then the court security officer asked them to read the verdict. So the foreman stood up with a microphone, and he was asked for each count if they had reached a verdict and what it was. And he went through all 34 counts saying guilty. Then after that, the court security officer asked them if this was a unanimous verdict by all the jurors. They answered audibly in the courtroom saying that yes, it was. The judge asked if any of the parties wanted this individually polled. Todd Blanche, Trump's lawyer, said he did want the jurors individually polled. So they went through each of the 12 jurors one by one, and they each confirmed that their verdict on all 34 counts was guilty. Then the judge had thanked the jury for their service. He excused them and said that he wanted to talk to them afterwards, asking them to stick around for a little bit because he wanted to thank them individually for their service over these past 7 weeks of this trial since jury selection began. So they were waiting in the back room for the judge to go and discuss with them. And then the judge sent the sentencing date for July 11th. And then at that point, he said if there was nothing else, he was going to excuse them. At this point, Donald Trump stands up. We can now finally get a good look at his face. His face was red. He looked upset. He had a frown on his face. And as he walked toward the well that separates where he's sitting into the common area, the galley where the rest of us are, his son Eric Trump was sitting in that first seat. And so Donald Trump reached out to him, shook his hand vigorously, and then as he was walking past him, Eric Trump patted his father on the back. So kind of the most humane moment we've seen in this trial, this personal, emotional interaction between the father and son as Trump then walked down the center aisle of the courtroom and out into the hallway, where then he spoke to the cameras. It was certainly a historic moment and quite a dramatic moment, coming very unexpected at the end of this day, which had looked like it was heading toward there not being a verdict. So certainly a surprise to Donald Trump and his team, and something that they did not see coming based on the change in their demeanor, and certainly a serious moment for Trump where he did look like he was upset with the outcome of this trial.